I'm Leya, and I'm doing a BookTube a BookTube video of my favorite books from 2017. I know it's maybe a little late for a roundup, but that's what I'm doing. So here we go. I've got 12 of them. The first one that I want to talk about is The Syndicate by Sophie Davis. Sophie Davis is actually a duo of authors, Sophie and Sophie, and they are amazing. I've only really read The Syndicate by them and Stacy's Diary, I believe it is. But The Syndicate is a time travel, well, you start in the future, and it's kind of like this dystopian future, but you don't get to see a whole lot of that because Stacy ends up with the Syndicate, which travels back in time to grab artifacts that wealthy people are willing to pay bukus of money for. So the Syndicate, the first one, they go back to 1920s Paris to steal a book that got written but never got published because the manuscript got lost. So that's kind of really exciting as an author, but the writing in general is amazing. And of course, you know, 1920s high society Paris, I mean, who doesn't want to like relive that kind of a thing? So that's wonderful. I love that book, and I'm really excited for the next one to come out, which hopefully they should be coming out with this year, I think. They started a whole bunch of series at the same time, and they're kind of just starting to get it straightened out, I guess, from what I've heard. All right. Bedtime Stories for Grown-Ups by, and forgive me if I say this wrong, Cearuil Swords. This is a collection of short stories that are whimsical and fun, and it was kind of surprising actually how much I enjoyed the book, which is why I included it on the list. My favorite story is The Woman Who Needed to Sit, which is told in all of about maybe 3 sentences. The middle one being a run-on sentence so long and yet so completely understandable that it's incredible. I mean, you have to, if you only read one story out of the book, read The Woman Who Needed to Sit because that was hilarious. Alright, number 3 is Prophet of Doom by D.S. Murphy. The book used to be called Prescient, which I'm not entirely certain what that means, but Prophet of Doom, D.S. Murphy, Derek Murphy, is a very talented writer, but Prophet of Doom is the best book that I think he's started. It's about a girl who, and it's not my usual clean reads kind of a thing. It's a little more edgy, darker, but it's about this girl who thinks she's taking, smoking some pot at a party to impress a boy, and instead she goes tripping into the future. She's taking something else. And what she sees there is crazy because it's like this post-apocalyptic future. There's not many people left. What people are there are trying to congregate, and there's 2 factions. One of society who's kind of trying to preserve humanity, and the other one that is trying to evolve it. So that's really, really good. Just because the back and forth between her present day, you know, trying to deal with prom and the boys she likes and all that stuff, and then going into the future and seeing how crazy it is and trying to figure out how to stop it and stuff is amazing, and it ends on a cliffhanger. And I am begging everybody to go out and buy it and read it because the author goes with what series, he kind of cast his net wide, and he's going with what series make him money. And if that one doesn't make him enough money, he's going to go with the ones that do make him enough money. So please buy it and read it and rave about it and tell your friends, because it's amazing. Alright, fall into fantasy, which this is an anthology. Drew Farrell is the one who kind of oversaw the project and helped to edit and stuff. Besides the cover being gorgeous, there are a variety of fantasy, fall into fantasy, the variety of fantasy stories that cover all sorts of genres. From one of them I have to mention, 6 Degrees of Zombie Separation by Molly Neely, is about the zombie apocalypse, where it starts, but it kind of takes it in reverse order. So you get a glimpse of it, and then you get another glimpse of it, and then you get another glimpse of it, and it's like you start having to put all the puzzle pieces together. It's all the people that are connected with the event that starts the zombie apocalypse. So it's really cool. The other ones that I really liked are Kitchen Magic, Gbahali, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Gbahali. Child of the Roses, They'd Be an Army in Autumn, that has some gorgeous descriptions. Gamma Lobstone, which is just fun, and I think Gamma Lobstone was my favorite. Yes, that was my favorite of the collection, because it felt like something so much more than just a short story. It was really cool. Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 books. Now we've got, alright. The Vengeance of Snails is written by Cymri, and it's part of the Penny White series. It's actually book number 4. I read book number 4 and then book number 3, The Marriage of Griffins, this year. And I read her short story, Clyde's Grand Day Out, which is only available if you sign up for her newsletter. But what Chrys Cymri does with the Penny White series is phenomenal. I kind of liken it to Harry Potter, if Harry Potter was a middle-aged priest girl who loved whiskey and had a small sarcastic griffin for an assistant and kept a pet snail shark and had a thing for dragons. So it's not like Harry Potter at all, but but it's got the two worlds that are side by side. The world of, and I probably am saying this wrong, but Logar, where all the fantasy creatures that you've been told don't exist do. And then there's, Earth. And so she's balancing life between Earth and, she's single, so she's got this love interest that's human, but then there's this dragon that is dark and handsome and very alluring, that she's kind of trying to sort out her feelings for. So I love the series. I absolutely adore the series, and it's neat how we dive a little deeper into Logar and what makes that place that place, and it's full of flaws. It's not just all rainbows. One of the books is called The Cult of Unicorns, if that gives you any idea. And the fact that she has a snail shark for a pet is kind of phenomenal. And he comes off as kind of like the not very intelligent, because he speaks one word things, but Clyde runs very deep. Very deep, which we find out in the Clyde's Grand Day Out, just how deep he can go. Oh, and The Vengeance of Snails. You get a greater sense of what he's capable of. His ability to communicate in no way shows how intelligent he is, which is really neat, I think, because there's people like that too, where they don't seem like much, but there's more to them than might appear. So I don't know. I think it's an amazing series. If you can get in on it, I highly suggest it. And she's got 4 books out with the 5th one shortly on its way. So I'm one of the special ones. I get to see, I get to read through the arcs and stuff when she gets through with them. So they're amazing though. They are absolutely amazing. You really need to try them out. All right. 4th Law of Kanaloa, which is by Johann Twiss. This one is another short story, and it surprised me because I wasn't expecting so much from something so short. Basically, it's about a woman in 1920s, I think, World War II, and mermaids. So it's really neat the way he brings in like real life details, and how he weaves this story that's so complete, that takes us through such a stretch of time in such a short amount of time, in such a few amount of words, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So that's a bit of a romance, but it's got some really neat details in it. So so that was one that I had to include. All right, the PSS Chronicles by Ripley Patton. That's a series. It's not just a book, but I read the whole series. So that is phenomenal. Again, it's a little bit darker, but the PSS Chronicles is about, well, it starts off where this one girl, she has a ghost hand. Basically, her body creates this see-through hand that she can use it to like pick stuff up and manipulate objects around her, but it's not completely corporeal. Like she can make it disappear and have water run through it if she wants to. Not disappear, but you know what I mean. And it follows her as she finds out that her kind are being hunted. People with PSS are being hunted. And she finds, as you go deeper and deeper in the books, she finds a whole world of stuff that she had no idea existed out there. So it's kind of a romance. It's kind of an adventure, survival, kind of a thing. But and I won't give away the ending, but the ending is so inspirational. I mean, you won't even believe it. Okay, I didn't even see it coming. I write books for a living. I see a lot of endings coming before they do, and you don't see that one coming. That one is so completely different than you would expect. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Ripley did an incredible job with that series, and like I said, the ending just leaves you with this inspiration and hope that humanity is not as horrible as as sometimes it feels like it is when you watch the news. So that's kind of cool, and it's obviously more along the paranormal fantasy kind of lines, but contemporary. So that's really cool. Wrath of the Revenant, by Terry Marchion. This is the 3rd book in a series of Christopher and Tremain. The Adventures of Christopher and Tremain. It's a middle grade. Is where it's kind of more aimed towards, But it's a really fun sci-fi series about an older gentleman who is a scientist